will soon approve that, and by soon I mean in the next day or two, approve that, which would and publish the decree in Le Moniteur, which will formally create the Transitional Presidential Council. That council will then have the task of selecting an interim prime minister and cabinet, which will administer Haiti until there can be a democratic election, which will be one of their top goals. In parallel with those efforts, we continue to work tirelessly with the international community to lay the groundwork for the deployment of a multinational security support mission in Haiti that Kenya will lead. There will be force contributors from the Caribbean, Latin America, and Africa to this force, which will support the Haitian National Police in their efforts to address the security crisis in Haiti. Beyond that, we are working to ensure that governance can continue in Haiti, and that includes direct support for the electoral process in Haiti from the United States, from other international organizations, and from other bilateral partners, among other lines of support for governance in Haiti. My colleague Marcia Wong will talk about our assistance to Haiti broadly, but I do want to note that in addition to the financial assistance that the United States has pledged for the multinational security support mission, which is $200 million from the Department of Defense and $100 million from the Department of State, we are also working with partners to raise funds for that effort. In parallel with that, the State Department's Bureau of International Narcotics and Law Enforcement Affairs provides about $200 million of support to the Haitian National Police over the last 18 months, which is focused on giving them the resources that they need to help fight gang violence in Haiti, particularly in metropolitan Port-au-Prince. The welfare of American citizens in Haiti, as well as their family members, often blended families, with not everyone being a U.S. citizen or permanent resident, continues. And to date, we've helped about 850 Haitian Americans or American residents in Haiti evacuate Haiti via helicopter flights out of country. Another 450 or so people have departed on their own and let our embassy know that they have found ways to depart country on their own. And we'll hope that we'll be able to expand these efforts to include those blended families that we have not been able to get out through the Dominican Republic to date. We're actively engaged on that, and to facilitate that, Secretary Blinken spoke with President Abinader of the Dominican Republic last week. The statement that came out of that is available on the State Department website. There are many other things that we could go into, but in the interest of time, I'll leave it there so that colleagues have time to make their interventions. Over.
Thank you, Assistant Secretary Nichols. And I just want to say that we are, apologies for some technical difficulties. We'd very much like to be on camera, but finding it difficult right now. So appreciate the limits of technology and your patience. So with that, we'd like to turn it over to our NSC Director for Haiti, Lauren Michaels, to give us an update from here.
Great. Thank you, Ariel. And thank you everyone so much for your time this morning. I am going to cover our current assistance as well as how we're responding to the current crisis at hand. I think there are a few issues globally that have that we have met on at senior levels at the White House as frequently as we do on Haiti, as it remains a top priority across the administration. The U.S. is the biggest donor to Haiti. Last year, we provided over $230 million in economic development, health, and security assistance to Haiti. We also remain the biggest donor of humanitarian assistance to Haiti, providing over $170 million since last October. But more immediately, to respond to the increase in violence that we've seen over the past month, we announced plans to provide urgently needed equipment to security forces in Haiti. And once that equipment package moves, we'll be able to provide up to $10 million of excess stocks from the Department of Homeland Security, including weapons, ammunition, and bulletproof vests for Haitian security forces. As Assistant Secretary Nichols mentioned, we are also urgently working with our international partners and Congress to expedite the deployment of the Kenyan-led multinational security support mission, which we plan to contribute a total of $300 million to. The goal of the multinational security support mission, or the MSS, is to assist Haitian law enforcement in maintaining security conditions necessary to conduct free and fair elections. But longer term, Haiti is one of our Global Fragility Act countries, and under the Global Fragility Act, the administration is implementing a whole of government plan to prevent conflict and promote stability in Haiti through our strategy to prevent conflict and promote stability. Specifically under the plan, we're working together with Haitian and international partners on long-term support to support a Haitian vision shared by the people and their government to advance responsible governance, lasting security, and equitable prosperity. The U.S. has also provided extensive support through health programming in Haiti. And since 2004, the U.S. has significantly invested in Haiti's HIV prevention, care, and treatment efforts through the President's Emergency Plan for AIDS Relief, or PEPFAR. The 2-year budget for PEPFAR for this year and last year is $225 million. And with that, knowing that we're getting time, I'll hand it back to you, Ariel.
Thank you, Lauren. So we are also joined, our final speaker for today, we're also joined by our USAID colleague, Marcia Wong. She's the Deputy Assistant Secretary to the Administrator for Humanitarian Assistance, and she's going to discuss the administration's much needed humanitarian assistance efforts to support the Haitian people.
Great. Thank you so much, Ariel, and my colleagues, Karen, Brian, and Lauren, for providing such a full backdrop to the challenging situation in Haiti. And I would very much like to thank all the colleagues who've joined us today online. Many, no doubt, have been engaged in Haiti for years, and you know all too well the country has faced challenges in the past, be it natural disaster or man-made. But this recent escalation of gang violence is really exacerbating already dire humanitarian conditions. And it's especially impacting two critical areas of response, if I can draw your attention to them: food security and protection of civilians. Most of the US government humanitarian assistance is focused on food. The surge in hostilities has closed markets, it's disrupted the supply chains, and worsened the deteriorating food security situation. Nearly 5 million people are projected to experience acute levels of food insecurity through June of 2024. That's right around the corner, and including 1.65 million facing what we describe as emergency levels of food insecurity. What does that mean? If you're in a household that faces emergency food insecurity, you will see families liquidating their assets to purchase food, which may be priced exorbitantly high given the supply and demand challenges. Most family members will begin missing at least one meal a day, and there are often going to be high rates of acute malnutrition, especially in children. Our second area of focus: protection and the well-being of civilians. It is a critical area, as the gang violence causes increased casualties and displacement. We in the international community, and certainly USAID, my colleagues on this call, we remain deeply concerned about the prevalence and the heightened risk of gender-based violence, GBV, in Haiti, and the disproportionate impact of this crisis on women and girls. And we all strongly condemn the systematic use of sexual violence as a tactic of terror and control by the gangs. Much of our protection work, therefore, focuses on the communities and individuals suffering from such violence and insecurity. Our response in Haiti has had to be agile and flexible, working hard to move with the populations in need and on the move, and to bring relief where they are. As of March 21st, over 362,000 people in Haiti are displaced. Some of them are seeking shelter with host communities, which creates its own strain, as you can imagine, while others are forced to shelter in already overcrowded and under-supported displacement sites. The majority of internally displaced people, IDPs, have been displaced at least once. The government of Haiti's General Directorate of Civil Protection is leading coordination efforts for displaced persons, and they have established a number of displacement sites throughout Port-au-Prince, but they're not adequate. We need to do more. Those displaced already suffer from limited access to food, healthcare, water, hygiene facilities, and badly needed mental health and psychosocial support. The recent escalation of violence has further reduced this access. And as we know, IDPs are among the most vulnerable. Our partners have had to prioritize the provision of assistance to these displacement sites across all sectors. And how were we able to do this? We are so very fortunate to be working with committed humanitarian partners, including the local civil society organizations. Despite the violence and this escalation, the partners are present, they're active, and they're continuing to reach most people in need of humanitarian assistance. They tell us that they're able to maintain this high level of assistance across all funded sectors, although yes, there are increased challenges in reaching these beneficiaries in these locations due to insecurity. However, no partner has indicated plans to significantly reduce their operations, and in spite of this violence, the agencies are retaining essential staff in country. We are lucky that many of our partners have extensive experience in Haiti and in many other non-permissive environments around the world. Our programs are designed to be agile. We allow our partners to pivot to address new displacement and new needs as they arise and continue to follow high standards of operations. We provide direct support through 28 UN and local and international NGO partners, and through them, an additional 28 sub-awardees. Of those 56 organizations, nearly half of them are local Haitian NGOs. In addition, we support numerous other local organizations through the UN's Women, Peace, and Humanitarian Fund, managed by UNDP and UN Women. This builds capacity and supports several local protection organizations through Haiti. As mentioned by Lauren, the United States is the single largest donor of humanitarian assistance to Haiti. Since October 22, when my bureau sent in a response team to work on the cholera outbreak, we have provided nearly 171 million in life-saving assistance. Again, this includes that additional 58 million recently announced by Secretary of State Blinken and USAID Administrator Power. This new aid will provide additional food, nutrition support for infants and young children, essential health services, access to clean water, and again, prevention and response to gender-based violence. We have many examples we'd be happy to share with you, but we want to assure you the World Food Program is providing hot meals. And we've had gender-based violence prevention response services, medical referrals. That need is clearly evident. During the month of January alone, one NGO consortium reached nearly 1,200 survivors of armed attacks and gender-based violence in Cité-Salon alone, psychosocial support. We are worried about cholera because of the sanitation issues. We are providing cholera prevention and hygiene kits. However, even with the U.S. support, the United Nations Haiti Humanitarian Needs and Response Plan, which totals $673 million, is less than 7% funded for 2024 and was less than 35% funded in 2023. The needs are growing and requires a robust response from donors and partners to meet this need. USAID and the Department of State colleagues and the White House, we call on other donors who are active in our advocacy to increase their support for this country in need. The supplemental international disaster assistance resources requested by President Biden would allow us to continue robustly supporting responses to crises around the world, including Haiti. As we look forward, I want to draw one thing to your attention. We will continue to provide targeted humanitarian assistance in conjunction with the security efforts mentioned by my State Department friends. But humanitarian assistance alone will not solve the crisis, nor provide the viable, hopeful future the Haitian people deserve. So we need those continued investments in job creation, education, a healthy, functioning private sector. Development donors focus on those building blocks, including my development colleagues at AID, but the enabling factor continues to be a secure and stable Haiti. I know many of you are involved in relief efforts already, including by raising awareness about this crisis, and I thank you for your efforts and commitment. I look forward to hearing your thoughts and questions also. Thank you all.
Thank you, Marcia. So we have a little bit of time now that we can go through some of the questions that you all submitted. I just wanted to say that we received hundreds of questions from everybody who registered for the call. We appreciate how much interest there is and how important these issues are to you. We won't have time to get through all of those questions, but we did pull out some, there were some common themes. And so we'll get through as many as we can, probably about 10 minutes that we can pose some of these questions to our panelists. The first one is, I think, for the State Department and maybe our NSC colleagues. So we've gotten a lot of questions about movement to and from Haiti, including what kind of support exists for American citizens and legal permanent residents inside Haiti. Is it safe to travel to Haiti? And what plans exist for the extension of temporary protected status for Haitians? Brian, if I could first turn it over to you, and then we can possibly cover some of those issues from the White House as well. Thanks.
Thank you. So there's a travel advisory for Haiti, which is category 4, which tells American citizens that they should not travel to Haiti, and those there should depart immediately if it's safe to do so. The State Department has been facilitating helicopter flights for American citizens in Haiti to fly them either to Cap Haitien, where they can take commercial flights out, or earlier on in the process had flown people to the Dominican Republic, where they could take charter or commercial flights out of Haiti. As I said in my opening remarks, about 850 people have departed through those flights, and another 450 or so American citizens had departed on their own. People who've been largely able to either make their way to Cap Haitien to take commercial aircraft out, or had crossed into the Dominican Republic. We expect to continue flight service, and hopefully in the coming days will include non-U.S. citizen Haitian blended family members so that they can depart via helicopter flights out. The Toussaint Louverture Airport in Port-au-Prince is still closed for operations, but Haitian authorities have been taking steps to secure the airport in recent days, and there are some hopes that it will be able to reopen to service in the coming days and weeks. But that's not a certainty. With regard to temporary protected status, the role of the State Department in temporary protected status is to provide a report on country conditions to the Department of Homeland Security about the country in question. The Department of Homeland Security can do one of 3 things. It can either extend the temporary protected status so that the people who are covered currently would still be covered. It can redesignate temporary protected status so that from the moment of the redesignation, people would be covered in addition to all those covered in previous designations, or it could end temporary protected status if in their view, the emergency that created temporary protected status no longer applies. So from the Department of State standpoint, I would just note that in our report on country conditions, I expect that it will reflect the even more difficult conditions that exist now versus the conditions that existed 1 year ago, which at that time were also quite acute. I will stop there in the interest of time.
Thank you, Brian. Did you?
Just to add on temporary protected status, that those designations, as Assistant Secretary Nichols alluded to, are decided after careful consideration and consultation with the interagency, and Haiti's current TPS designation does expire on August 3rd of this year. So a decision whether to terminate or to extend the designation must occur prior to June 4th. So those conversations are underway.
Thank you, Lauren. Okay, so our next question is, Marcia, going to be for you about humanitarian assistance and access. So we have this question from that was sent in by Barbara MEZON. What is the best way to ensure that humanitarian aid actually gets to people who need it most in Haiti? I understand that gangs are intercepting goods and supplies. Marcia, over to you.
Great, thank you. A very relevant question. I know many of us were horrified at seeing some of the looting that had taken place earlier this spring. And I want to assure everyone on this call, every listener, that the U.S. government takes very, very seriously the interference in, diversion of humanitarian aid. And USAID definitely takes its duty as a steward of if you are a U.S. taxpayer, your funding very seriously. And we hold all our partners to the highest standards to ensure that these funds are used wisely, effectively, and for their intended purpose. That means for our partners, they have to have robust safeguards and risk mitigation systems in place to ensure that that principled humanitarian aid will indeed reach those who need it most. We closely monitor partner activities to ensure that these activities are indeed reaching those beneficiaries, as we call the people in need, and meet standards and avoid fraud, waste, and abuse. We do recognize Haiti presents particular challenges in access and visibility, so we do work with a third-party monitoring mechanism to complement our own monitoring efforts. What that means is out in the field in these neighborhoods and communities, the projects are monitored during visits to observe, verify, report on the implementation and the quality of these activities as described. This adds that extra layer of independent verification to ensure that our funds and our HA is reaching those people in need, even in the areas that are hard to access due to security concerns. We also have other mechanisms like hotlines and other reporting ways that communities themselves can inform us if they feel that their aid is being interfered with, diverted, or being misused. We were all drawn to those horrific pictures and video of the containers and ports being looted. Last year, warehouses had been looted and walls had been breached. Our partners, again, as I had described, agile and working to ensure that they can bring as much as they can to these communities. So they are now taking many, many precautionary measures to reduce the risk of looting. This means halting all shipments to insecure ports, removing these containers from the Port-au-Prince port as soon as security allows. They're reducing the warehouse stockpiling to avoid large stocks in any warehouse at any time. BHA is ensuring our partners are reporting commodity loss through all required legal and oversight channels. Again, what we really need is that safety and security to ensure that every last dollar is spent as strategically and effectively as it can. Thank you.
Thank you, Marcia. So we have time for one more question, and it's one that many people expressed a lot of concern on. So many of you asked about what the US government is doing to stop the flow of illegal guns to Haiti. And I'll turn it over to Lauren from the NSC for that.
Great, thank you, Ariel. First, I do want to reiterate that we are doing our part to help stem the flow of firearms from the United States to Haiti. And I'm going to walk through what we're doing here at home and what we're doing within the region. So here in the US, law enforcement agencies are conducting outbound inspections, particularly out of Florida. But detecting the firearms is very challenging, especially as the traffickers continue to shift their tactics. The Department of Justice is also continuing investigating and prosecuting individuals for smuggling firearms. And just in February alone, 2 individuals were sentenced for smuggling firearms to Haiti. Also, last year, the Department of Justice named a coordinator for the Caribbean firearms prosecutions to elevate firearms trafficking and prosecutions within the Caribbean region, including Haiti, and to help implement the provisions of the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act. Internationally, the Department of Homeland Security and the Department of Justice are working with law enforcement partners in the region to trace firearms, investigate, and where appropriate, to bring prosecutions against individuals involved in firearms trafficking. But right now, given the current security crisis in Haiti, our Haitian security partners are really focused on civilian protection and securing key infrastructure, including the port and the Port-au-Prince airport. So we're limited in the ways that we can collaborate within Haiti. But once the security situation improves in Haiti, U.S. law enforcement plan on re-engaging with Haitian police. Just last month, the Department of Homeland Security and the Haitian National Police signed an MOU to create a unit to enhance the abilities of Haitian police and the United States to investigate and prosecute those who are involved in transnational criminal activities, including firearms trafficking. DOJ and the Haitian National Police also signed an MOU that will allow the HNP to trace these firearms, which will lead to a greater ability to identify, investigate, and prosecute firearms traffickers here in the US. In the meantime, US law enforcement are working out of other Caribbean countries and working with local partners to interdict weapon shipments entering into the Caribbean and often flowing to Haiti. We understand the concern, and we are doing everything we can, both here domestically as well as in the Caribbean and in Haiti, to stem the flow of trafficked firearms. So back to you, Ariel.
Thank you, Lauren. So that concludes our questions, and we're going to wrap up from there. Just want to apologize again for our technical difficulties that have prevented us from being on camera. We very much wanted to show you our faces today, but we're hindered by technology. So hopefully the next time we convene this group, we'll be able to talk to you with our faces and our voices and our faces on the screen and on video. We really did receive so much interest and so many questions from you. And I really do, again, thank you for joining this discussion. And we know it's an interest, area of great interest and concern, and really impacting particularly diaspora communities here in the United States. We are listening to your feedback, and that feedback is extremely important to us. So we hope that you will continue to remain engaged with us and in your communities to ensure that we're working together to support the people of Haiti. As I said, and as Corinne said at the top, the Haitian diaspora community here is so important, and we believe that you are tremendous partners in our efforts to support the Haitian people. We hope to keep you updated of our progress and appreciate you joining us today. Please do stay in touch. Thank you.